This video concerns you or anybody who is a Canadian PR and has spent some considerable time in Canada as a PR. And now after spending that some time in Canada, now wants to take the next step of applying for Canadian citizenship. Applying for citizenship can sound like an enormous task just because of the weight of the word itself, but I'm here to show you how this task can be done easily. But in this channel, as we do always with any important work, we should have a very clear idea of what we are getting into and know the basics very well. So here is what you need to do to become a Canadian citizen. You will have to fill up an online application form, but to be able to do that, you need to make sure you are eligible for making that online application. And before I go into the details of online application, just a bit of clarification that in this video and the series of videos that comes up, I will be covering only the online application method for Canadian citizenship. If you can watch this video, if you are able to access this video, I see no reason why you cannot submit an application online. The online portal for Canadian citizenship application is very user friendly and can be accessed even on mobile and tablet. So you don't need a high-tech equipment to access or make this application. So in this video, I will be taking you some of the basics and high-level requirements of becoming a Canadian citizen. There will be no demo in this particular video, but I will have some detailed demos on the next videos on this particular topic. In order to become a Canadian citizen, you must satisfy these 5 conditions. The first and foremost condition to become a Canadian citizen is your physical presence condition, where you have to prove that you have stayed in Canada as a PR for 1095 days in the last 5 years. Please note that this 5-year dates back from the day you are applying for Canadian citizenship and not the day you became a PR. It will become a bit clear in the next demo. But just for example, say you are going to apply for Canadian citizenship on 1st of August 2024, then your eligibility period of physical presence will begin from 1st August 2019. After your physical presence criteria, the next criteria is that you should have filed your taxes in Canada if you need to be, and you need to prove your language skills. Once you satisfy these 3 conditions, you are good enough to start an online application. And after you do your online application and pay your citizenship application fees, you will have 2 additional tasks to complete. One is to pass a citizenship test and then take the oath of citizenship. So as I told you, the first and foremost things that you need to satisfy is to calculate your physical presence. So make sure that you do this particular step before doing anything else. If you already have a Canadian PR, have spent few years as a PR, now want to apply for a citizenship, do this thing first. Calculate your physical presence. And to calculate your physical presence, make sure you have these details with you. You would need a landing date, a PR date, a travel date, and the residency history. The landing date is the date on which you came to Canada. PR date will be available on the backside of a PR card. Travel dates would be available from the stamps on your passport or the travel tickets if you have traveled after becoming PR. And residence history is just required for your application details. So make sure you have these details ready with you before you start your application. Again, I will do a demo on how to do your physical presence calculator, but in this video, I'm just covering the basic requirements that you need to do before doing an online application. I don't want you to start an online application and then run over the place to get some documents or details. So in this particular video, I would be covering all the basics you need to do even before you start anything online. After doing your physical presence calculator and you know that you have satisfied the physical presence criteria, get a professional photograph done. You have to get your photos professionally done. It cannot be done at home with your mobile phone or with a digital camera. This has to be done professionally. And this is one of the only steps in your online application form where you would have to step out of your home. So even before you start your online application, make sure you get your photos done professionally, have a digital copy of your picture, and keep the details of photographers or studio's name and address with you. You will also need the date of taking the picture and make sure that the picture that you have taken professionally is not more than 6 months old. So for example, again, if you are doing an application on 1st of April, your photo cannot be older than 1st of February. Next step is gather all your documents. In the next slides, I will show you a sample of all the documents that would be required for online application. So make sure you have all these documents ready with you even before starting your online application. I would say, and I would suggest, in your laptop or on your mobile device, organize all your documents much beforehand. If you don't have the documents organized, it will take you longer time to fill up this application. This is how I suggest you organize your documents. In your computer, have a folder for each of the applicants. And then in each folder, you will have documents for each applicant. So for example, if you are applying alone, have a folder for yourself. If you're applying with your spouse, have a folder for your spouse. If you're applying with your spouse and kids, have a folder for yourself, spouse, and kids. In this particular scenario, I'm taking an example where you are applying with your spouse and your kid. For the main applicant, make sure you have your picture, your language test, your education details, your degree and mark sheets, all the copies of your work permit, your full travel history. You can also save a copy of your physical presence calculator to access your travel history. You will need your residence history, where you have stayed in the last 5 years, and then your copy of your PR card, your passports, your health card, and driver license. These things are required for your secondary identification. Similar documents for your spouse, exactly the same documents for your spouse, but for kid, you need one extra document, which would be the kid's birth certificate. Birth certificate is not required for the applicant or the spouse of the applicant. Also for the kid, you don't need to prove the language test, and you don't need the travel or the residence history for the kid. So for kid, you just need your picture of the kid, the study permits, the PR card, the passport copies, health card, and birth certificate. Just as an overall caveat, any of these documents that you have, right? Say for example, your work permit, your travel history, your residence history, your passports. If you have multiple copies of those documents in the last 5 years, make sure you have copy of that also. So just for example, in the last 5 years, for some reason, you have 2 passports in the last 5 years. So make sure when you are submitting your passport copies, you have the copy of both the passports ready. So just make sure you have all the details ready with you, and same with your kids. And there you are. Once you have all these basic documents ready, you are now ready to start your online application. In the next video, I will show you first how to calculate your physical presence, because that is the main thing required to be able to do an online application. So I will cover that in the next video. And in the video after that, I will be covering the actual citizenship online application. So I'll see you in the next one, and thank you.